Welcome everyone to the Island Life podcast, where we journey onto the island of discovery to relive some of the best and worst moments of Survivor. My name is Will, an experienced Survivor fan, 48 seasons deep, and I will be your guide. And joining us on this adventure is our rising Survivor fan with 13 seasons under her belt, Edge.
Hello.
And of course, we also have our Survivor newbie, the brand new Survivor fan who just finished his 5th season of the show. I give you Survivor F.
What's going on, everyone?
Welcome to another couple episodes of Survivor China. Just giving you a window into different time, simpler times, better times? We discuss. There's actually a lot of different things happened, like things we can contrast to the present day. Before we get into it, it's gonna break some ice. And in honor of Courtney winning her first ever individual immunity challenge, I want to know if you've ever had a Luigi wins by doing nothing moment in any part of your life. It's just victory by doing nothing. Have you ever felt that way?
Ooh. Dang, that's a hard one. Oh.
Yeah,
Win
off
by
the top
doing
of my
nothing.
head, I can't say I have. Definitely not like,
Well,
like any sort of competition, any sports, any like video games. It's kind of hard to do that.
I guess like sometimes when you get free food, I think that's a win by doing nothing. I'm like really thinking about it right now because
Yeah.
you're right, F. Like it's kind of hard to say like sports. I feel like you gotta do something unless you're like I guess you're a bench warmer and you're not doing anything and your team wins. I guess, but I was never in a team sports type of gal, so I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking. I'm like this the
well,
Mick
I at
the Winnie the
least
Pooh meme right now. Think.
think. While you think.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple like I was just playing Magic the Gathering today. There's certainly a bunch of
Ooh.
like I put no effort. You put like really low effort into assembling your deck, and your opponent just totally bricks the beginning. They don't draw what they need, and so you just like slowly punch them until you get a totally unearned victory. I felt that in my
But
personal
does
life.
that
Uh,
does that
oh,
really count
oh.
though? Like, aren't you still doing something? Like, it's not like you're
You're
doing nothing.
yeah, you're doing something. This is, I guess, like unearned, like seemingly unearned victory. Not Corny earned a victory, and there's nothing to be taken away. But it just was
The,
funny to watch her just totally sit there doing nothing
I
and
totally get your point.
achieving victory.
The way I look at it, this hasn't happened to me, but I think a great example would be like, let's say you're a hockey goalie, right? And your team is just so dominant that there's just no shots on your goal. And like you just win just by like standing around. You don't have to do
Just
anything.
standing around. But even that, if it would, I really want to own in on something individual because like your team won, so your team did
Right.
something.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
like
hard.
in my personal life, via like we ended up with a stranger as a roommate, which was not our plan. It's not like we put in effort to go search for a new roommate. In fact, we thought it was a bad situation, and it would turn out that this roommate would end up being like a core member of the friend group, and then be someone who plays wiffle ball and everything, and that to know with no credit to our own skill to make that happen. So that's something that happened to me.
What
I
about
love that
those
perspective. I love
what
that.
about those alarm clocks though?
See, no, that's a different situation. That we won't talk about that.
Yeah,
I like that perspective of, I feel like that's kind of just giving like, fate. How like in your example, Will, it's like fate, where there's nothing you could have done to like get this roommate or not get this roommate. It just happened and then it worked out really well. But I don't like I guess it's a win in terms of hey, it worked out really great because it's a great friend or something like that. I guess I like that perspective that was a win.
I just don't have a great example for this. I think the closest thing I can think of, and this was like such a long time ago, is maybe when I was playing like bingo in school and I just happened to get the right combination. Like I'm not
Oh,
doing
okay,
anything
okay.
and it just wins.
Oh, I
No,
like
that's a
that.
clever example. That makes
That is
sense.
one.
But it feels like a victory, didn't it? At least like when I won
Yeah.
bingo, I was like, "Yeah, let's
Yeah, they
go."
actually had prizes in our class for that sort of thing, but it's like, that
Oh,
happens
that's
happens
nice.
with anyone winning that sort of thing. So, I
That's
just happen to
true,
be
that's
one of the
true.
winners.
Or when you're playing a board game or a video game and the 2 other people or 3 other people are so, like, just fighting each other that you get to, like, score the win, you get to win because
Mhm.
nobody's paying attention to you.
Absolutely.
Nice, nice. Well, hopefully,
Oh,
this
actually,
oh,
I just thought of something. I this is I've told you this story before, Will. Back in university, my first year in university, I was actually part of a Smash Bros tournament. And when I say I won by doing nothing. It's more I won off of a technicality, but this is the closest thing I can think of where it kind of feels like what you're trying to gauge out of this question. Where I did a good job making it to the final round of this tournament. There was actually a prize for the tournament winner, where they got like a gift card to Best Buy, and I made it all the way to the final round and ended up getting destroyed by my opponent in the final round. Like I think I took maybe one stock off him, and he ended up winning like 5 stocks to nothing. Or sorry, 4 stocks to nothing. I just took the one stock off him. And in the end, he ended up getting disqualified because he wasn't even a student at the university, which wouldn't have allowed him to compete. And I just thought it
Mhm.
was so funny that they checked that afterwards. So I ended up winning off of a technicality when everyone actually saw me get destroyed by this guy. So, uh, very odd example, and not like I didn't feel like I won, but like based on a technicality, I did win.
That works, that works.
a win is a win is a win. That's
I
what I
like
always
it.
say. Uh, but yeah, hopefully, I think in all these examples, like you still feel great. So I think if you're Courtney, who in one of these 2 episodes we're talking about wins her first individual immunity challenge, it feels great regardless.
But I would like to say, like, that it's not easy to balance on that, Although it looks like she did nothing and she kinda, kinda says, like, "Oh, yeah, I just didn't wanna be wet," or something like that, and she didn't do anything. I would like to give her credit that it takes a lot of, like, abs and, like, stability and core that she was able to do and beat everybody, so I wanna give her that credit.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's just the visual of like, of course she
That's
wins the one
true.
where it looks like you just sit there.
I know, I know. She
And me
made it look like there's nothing to do, but I'm sure, like, as we
and
saw everyone
meanwhile,
else flop over.
although maybe if you believe Jean Robert, conspiracy, has he complained that his wasn't balanced correctly?
That was hilarious, and I don't think Jeff appreciated that.
yeah.
It's like,
I
glad
was
you're
so
here,
ready to
Jean
hear.
Robert.
Yes, yes.
I was so ready for that. More of Jeff's. We generally see Jeff more passive aggressive, but yeah, this one came off more direct, where he's just calling out that yeah, complaining as always, right? I was ready for him to go into tribal and just start asking everyone if they're considering voting out John Robert for no reason at all.
Yeah, Jean Robert. So, I think in these 2 episodes, we see the culmination of, and the progression of a lot of, in my opinion, bad games that we're seeing play out. So, obviously, the highlight of the first episode, which, by the way, that first episode was called
They're not trying to win $1 million. They're trying to win the high school friend contest.
A High School Friend Contest, which is, James referring to the original John Who members. It's funny, like, James considers his Fei-Long people as very different, but working together compared to Peih-Gee, Eric, and Frosti. Um, high school friend contest, I guess it just means they're not taking it seriously is what he's trying to say, or he's trying to say that they're just trying to be liked, even though, I mean, people don't seem to like Peih-Gee, so if that's the case, it's not going well. Um,
Oh, yeah,
but
I
we
saw it as that
focus.
too, like what you said, Will, like them trying to be nice with one another, because
Gotcha.
they're the only team that are, like, actually trying to, like, socialize with other people versus James is like, "I keep with my tribe, that's it. We're tribal lines, stick with tribal lines." Those other
Mm.
people, if you they're working with everyone else, like, trying to, like but because they have to, like, they're not really tight themselves, so they have to, like, disperse off and float around and, trying to integrate with the quote unquote cool kids if we're like trying to go for high school references here.
5 versus 3, it is a tricky situation. So this is final, or no, this is fi it was actually 9, was it 9 people at the time? Let me just check as I scroll all the way down here. Uh, it actually was 9. I was forgetting about
Denise,
Denise,
right?
which checks out. But, so actually at the time, if you're thinking original tribes, that's John Robert, Amanda, Courtney, Denise, James, and Todd. 6, and then Peih-Gee, Frosti, and Eric. If it stayed 6 versus 3, I mean, that's dire. That's a problem because if you persuade one person to join you, that's 5 versus 4, so you still lose. So actually you need to persuade 2 people to join your group. And on top of that, Frosti actually might not be with them because he kind of got adopted into the Todd and Amanda duo from the previous episodes. Uh, so yeah, at the time looks pretty bad, and it feels like John Robert. It could have gone so much better for him. Like if he just did not be who he is. 'Cause yeah, like, with 6 people, you could just pick off the remaining 3 of them without much trouble, and then maybe at that point, you have a huge threat in James, and then if people think Todd and Amanda are strategic threats, that's it's like you probably should not be a big target if you're John Robert. So the fact that it goes so wrong and he gets voted out, I mean, how bad would you if you bring out a tier list, how bad is Jean Robert's game?
Oh, he's in the
He,
bottom.
yeah, it just he caught me so off guard. I was expecting early on that because of his background as a poker player, being able to read people and maybe having a strong poker face himself, he would be pretty good in the social deduction, just kind of elimination game, or at least good in terms of socializing. But I guess I overestimated him. It's interesting. I talked with both of you about this, where it seems like most of the qualities that John Robert has are I was actually seeing in Todd in reality. But it's just take a look at like his performance in this episode. He's the only person who actually was not aware of James having 2 immunity idols, and just a complete lack of self-awareness in terms of how to handle that situation. Once he actually gets notified about it, he's telling someone, he's Eric in this regard. He's telling Eric that, "Oh, okay, like, I got a hidden immunity idol." Like he's trying to play it cool where Eric knows he's bluffing, just because he's aware that that James has the hidden immunity idol. Once he reveals it to him, which I don't know why he did, but that's besides the point. Once he reveals it to John Robert then goes and immediately starts talking to James about that, which I just thought that was like a really weird play. So he comes across as desperate in this sense, but he's not really showing desperation like most people would. He still has he still has a level of self-confidence that you don't normally see. So, I call it delusional. Like he's just not playing a good game. He had a lot of potential, but it's something where each and every episode that we've watched so far shows you an aspect of his personality, how he's playing the game, how he's strategizing, which does not seem like it's a winning combination to take him too far. And I would think that in hindsight, looking at the player he is, I'm surprised he didn't get eliminated sooner.
Agree. The
Interesting,
fact that he
interesting.
stayed so long is shocking. Like, I'm shocked that they stuck on with him. I guess it's just the fact that they don't like the other tribe more and wanna take them out over, like, how much they hate him, but from the beginning, I thought he was gonna be gone within the next couple of episodes. I didn't know that he would stay this long, and to see that is kind of, like, disheartening, you know? And plus, his game is so not great. For someone that lives off on reading people as a professional poker player, you would assume that he's better at reading these people, but he is grasping for straws. He can barely make a good relationship. He can't read people, and he's really bad at bluffing. Like, he talked about how I have an idol, and then it didn't work out. Nobody's afraid. Nobody believes on your bluff. He acted like Survivor was a poker game, but I felt like this entire time, everybody knew his hands, and knew he had nothing, and, he just kept on going with it, and nobody likes him, and it's obvious, and he never tried to work it out or anything, and he he's I do not like him, and glad he's finally gone, so, yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
pylon,
I don't
but
know. Yeah, it's weird, but well, first of all, yeah, John Robert, what I did like about him is clearly his head was in the game, like, from the beginning. Because especially, I mean, even in present day, but especially the further back you go, there's plenty of people who, at worst, their heads are never in the game, and at best, their strategy, it is in the game, but their strategy is to be under the radar forever. And you know that, at minimum, it doesn't make for good TV, first of all, but also it hurts your chances at the end. You kind of need some luck at that point to get through. And I don't think John Robert was ever trying to rely on luck. He was trying to execute strategies pretty much the whole time. They were such bad strategies, though. Let's not forget,
yeah,
in the beginning, it was intentionally come off as lazy and useless at camp with the intention to then, in someday in the future, suddenly start working. That way, people are like, oh, wow, he's actually doing stuff now.
that just made no sense. That made no sense. It's
And,
like,
like,
okay.
maybe we saw that, like, when because at some point he does start, I think, I forget, there was, like, one episode where we do see him doing stuff, and maybe, like, that one morning, like, "Oh, that's interesting." And clearly that feeling didn't last, though. Uh, and he just, maybe if he had a number 2, maybe if instead of approaching Todd, like, a couple hours into the game and being like, "I don't believe you. You're devious. You're gonna be player. I'm onto you." If instead he had tried to align with Todd, then you'd have, like, 2 strategists together, and that would've changed everything.
Yeah, I'm just at a loss for words sometimes when it comes to him. I feel like it's just because of the cast of characters we've had this season that, like, there have been quite a lot of unlikable personalities early on that got eliminated for that reason. That's just made him relative to them because he's at least trying to form some sort of strategy or trying to work certain things out and winning some challenges along the way with the group, not by himself. It's allowing him to scrape by, but as I was telling both of you as we were watching that, like, I gotta wonder if he was in a modern season of Survivor or even like, maybe another season where the cast just was more likable and the reason they're getting out is not because they're getting on everyone's nerves, but just because, we have earlier threats that are emerging or someone just badly misplays their hand. I think in most seasons he would be eliminated even sooner than he has been.
I agree. I think the current meta would be you're done. You're gone, you weirdo, and you don't help out starting from the bottom. There is no building up. There is just your first impression is how you make it. I feel like rarely now is that if you made a bad impression, it's hard to build that up in Survivor versus that's what he was trying to do. He's just making a bad impression. Things cannot get worse than now, and anything I do positive will only bring my reputation up, which is untrue.
Well, and also, especially in present day, being looked at as a gamer, like, being strategic, head in the game is a bad thing. Like, if they think you're strategic, you are a target. So he's like the worst of all worlds. Like so someone who's boring and not doing anything is probably safe in the very, very beginning. Um, so yeah, probably not. Now my only thing, this applies to present day and now, but let's focus on the now in this season. If is disliked by everyone, and it seems like he is, sitting next to him at the end seems like a great idea. Is it fair to criticize all of them for not actually making it the plan to bring him to the end?
Mm. Ooh, you know what? I think in their mind, they might have someone better in their mind to bring with them, or it's like, I'd rather not stick with this person because that would affect their game. I think the jury might not respect that. If they brought him
I see.
in, it's like, "Oh, you wanna bring this, like, this guy that nobody likes, and you're the one always protecting him, keep on having him in." It's kinda like the other guy in the last season we watched together.
Oh,
Um
Penner, Jonathan.
Yes, yes, but, like, Jonathan, yeah, he's annoying and stuff, but he was not this guy. Like, John Robert was way worse. I feel like if I guess it depends on the crowd, but I feel like that could have been seen like that, where you're like, "Oh, you kept on." There's only so much you can do to protect a guy that's been hated all around, so what is the point of keeping that? If anything, it comes to a point where you are associated to John Robert, so you gotta go out too.
Interestingly enough, at least shown to us, 3 times John Robert was targeted, like, by what would have been the majority. So we had back earlier in the season, like, I think episode 3, a lot of momentum's building to get him out. I think Todd is leading that, but because Leslie comes back from the other camp and is talking about how she enjoyed the other tribe and shared some secrets, Aaron, the former tribe leader, wants to get her out instead. And in that case, Todd doesn't get his way, Aaron gets his way. And then later, after the weird swap, the again, I think because Courtney is not willing to vote out Sharia, Todd is like, well, then let's do John Robert. But Amanda says, no, we need to stick with our numbers. And again, Todd doesn't get his way. Amanda does. Sharia's gone. And then here, again, Todd wants John Robert out. It's Amanda again who wants to go PG to stick with voting with original Fei-Long. But finally, Todd gets his way. Is there anything to read into that? That like third time's the charm for Todd, or Cat with Nine Lives things for John Robert, or anything there?
It just seems like he's playing a long game and trying to see what sticks and trying to read the room. And this is where the concern for Todd does come along as someone who's expecting him to be one of the potential winners with my picks. It's just that my concern becomes, is he becoming too much of a driving force too early? Just because I think people can eliminate you for a multitude of reasons, and they could see you as a threat if you're driving votes. So we are seeing that Todd is beginning to have more and more say in things, whereas before he was playing more subtle game kind of behind the scenes. So that's been a nice, interesting development, but hopefully one that doesn't lead him into a lot of fire himself.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that John Robert's been a target like he was targeted more than 3 times, but those are 3 times where if he had been the target, there would have been enough votes for it to happen. Um, but yeah, third time, and uh, more on John Robert. Okay, so uh he learns, like you said, he learns about the immunity idol, that it exists at all, because at the reward there's the clue. And interestingly enough, this time the clue is for everybody at reward instead of it's different than like the whole rest of the season where it was the winning tribe picks somebody else to go to the other camp. But I guess it's because we're not at the tribal part of the game anymore. This is the individual game, so there aren't 2 tribes. But yeah, they all open it together. So he learns about it, everyone else who's there, uh, so Todd and Amanda and might have been Denise, forget who the other person was. They all have to play dumb, and they do a good enough job at that. And then John Robert, knowing this information, goes out looking, which I think is okay. It makes sense. You got clues. You should look. He guesses correctly what idols were. Probably helped not just by the clues, but he watched Jamie fail to play one of those plaques earlier. So uh, he has it right. And his next instinct, once the immunity challenge is done, is to go to Eric, one of the people that's probably in danger. And maybe this is ego? I'm not sure because he's like, oh, so look, it's not looking good for you, Eric. Eric, defensive. He's like, well, I don't know. I kind of heard that you were on the chopping block. You got votes last time. I think that John Robert just couldn't help himself. He's like, no, I'm not because I got the idol, which he may or may not believe that, but I don't even know what's to be gained by, like, if you do believe you have that, why tell anybody? And if you don't, what's to be gained by bluffing Eric anyway? I just don't know.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
his gameplay has a lot to be desired. You kinda get confused on what's going on. You get a little whiplash of how he just threw it out there, and you're like, "This is," and it doesn't work. That's the thing, like, Eric doesn't believe him, so it's like, in the end, you just you look like you are just, like, fending for something, and you know you're going home tonight. You know, when it doesn't work, your bluff doesn't work, you just know that he's grasping right now.
I don't even know if he had to bluff. Like, Eric may not, like, he might, I don't even know. I mean, maybe he was guessing that Eric, Frosty, and Peih-Gee might be voting for him, but if he thinks he's okay, it doesn't matter because the 6 of you are all voting for one of them,
Mhm.
so it should have been fine. We did mention that Eric then, now granted, from John Robert's perspective, Eric could have been the one bluffing.
That's
We,
true.
the audience,
Yes.
know he's not. Eric tells the truth that, like, hey, I'm gonna tell you a secret that James has 2 idols, and my evidence is that Jamie and I went into his bag and found 2 of those things. Maybe it's because he had some details why that was believable. Um,
But
but
like
so I'm not sure exactly why. Yeah, go ahead.
what would he gain from even like it's not like he's saying that I have an idol. Like he's not saying anything about himself, right? Like he's talking about someone who already is a very known threat. So even if he was for some reason bluffing, right? Like would that really change anything? Right? Like it's one of those things that it's just I don't know why John Robert is playing the game the way he is at times. Like he's just not. It doesn't seem like he's thinking certain things through. And I just don't. I don't know if like the hunger, the heat, the elements like while he's trying to survive are kind of getting to him. But it does seem like he's just not. He's not thinking clearly on a lot of his decision making, and it's just. I mean, even at the end, right as he's getting eliminated, he's talking about like part of the reason I got eliminated is I'm seen as the biggest threat. He's saying that knowing that someone else has 2 hidden immunity idols and is very much winning and potentially will be winning, like, individual immunity challenges. So, it's just
Yeah, I think he's
he's,
like, I'm the best player in the game, so they took me out. Which,
Mhm.
um, now
He's the
granted, I mean
Lulu.
that's a very common salty thing to say when anyone gets voted out. So I don't hold that too much against him, but it fits the pattern of everything else he's been doing.
like, that's how you
Um,
get voted out, right? Like, your overconfidence can be your undoing. And on that topic, actually, as we're talking about James as well a little bit here, I've noticed that, like, in this episode, even going into the next episode, we're starting to see a more and more overconfident James, which, I mean, it's to be expected. The guy has 2 hidden immunity idols. He got away with not even needing to use one at this tribal, and it almost came back to bite him. I'm a little surprised that it didn't, but it's one of those things where you take that and you try to understand, okay, even with this protection, I can't just take for granted that I'll make it to the end. And I feel like sometimes people lose sight of that. Now, this is the first person I've seen who has this level of protection. And at the same time, he's aware that he's a big threat. So one pattern I've noticed, along with the thing I had mentioned about Todd, is that James is becoming more and more overconfident at a point where it's starting to come across as cockiness too. So what will that turn into? Who knows?
Let's talk about James then. So, despite all the stuff we talked about John Robert, there was the opportunity for something. Like John Robert does vote for James, so at some point his plan becomes blindside James. It it really doesn't work in part because he, for some reason, calls out James, basically trying to force him to admit he has idols. I question what the point of that was. Like, imagine it worked, and he's like, "Yeah, you got me. I got two." Well, then what? Like, you can't vote for him. You just admitted you're trying to get him at that point. Is he gonna work? So that was weird. Let's say he didn't do that. Well, maybe he could have amassed enough people. He needs 4 other people to vote with him against James. That would have been good, and I think James would not have played it. We saw he didn't even bring either of his idols that's not even he didn't play it. He didn't bring the idols to tribal
Yeah,
council.
huge mistake. That's a huge
That
mistake.
was alarming. But yeah, is that something you think you would have considered? Like, if you're Jean Robert, you now found out. I mean, you thought you had idols, but big ego check. Turns out you don't. And even worse, this guy has 2. Do you try to set up a blindside? I mean, the risk obviously. Well, the risk A doesn't work because he plays an idol, so that's dangerous. And B, even if it does work, you've betrayed your people, so that's not great. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, to me, the priority to get out, as much as I did not like John Robert's game, I'm not concerned about him at the end of the game. If he, for some reason, makes it that far, James, relative to him, is more likable, is more likely to win individual immunities, already has 2 immunities. So, like, if you have an opportunity to get him out, this was a huge missed opportunity.
And they should have taken
Do
him
you?
out. It makes sense. Like when Todd was like counting the last final thing, they're like, immunity, immunity. Oh, use idol, idol. It's easy win. He's gonna get there. So it's like, take him out, you know? Again, I agree with you, F. I also want John Robert out too. But at this time, it seems like there is a bigger fish to fry if we don't want James to win.
Yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't really come up with anyone besides Todd. Like, even Todd's talking to his number 1, Amanda, and not that she's necessarily against it, but she's trying to say, like, "Let's just get out 1 more of their people, and then we'll do John Robert." That's kind of the air. So, I feel like you might be right that James is acting overconfident. Maybe you could argue the others are also acting overconfident that they can just get him out whenever. Um, it's like the reverse mistake, the reverse blunder of, like, thinking, like, I can get them out whenever I want.
I just thought this was a huge wasted opportunity. Like, to me, the right play here was getting everyone outside of John Robert and James together and talking about splitting the vote, focusing the vote on James. But if that backfires, if he for some reason uses the immunity idol, then getting out who you really want in John Robert. So, if it ends up leading to the same vote, okay, but it at least eliminates the one of the idols that James has and decreases some of the threat level. And in this case, if they had done that, they would have just outright eliminated him.
Oh, yeah. Yep, it's true. So real quick to close the book on this first episode, we had 2 challenges. The first, there was the reward challenge called "The Bucket Stops Here." And this is when you're gonna put one of your teammates in a boat and kind of like in a square area on the water, and then everyone else who's against them is gonna try to take buckets and throw water at you. So if you're in the boat, your job is to both throw water out of your own boat and, like, try to evade people. Uh, we saw Courtney really not do great at all. It was disastrous for the team that had Courtney. Todd, I thought, did very well when he was in the boat, and honestly, Frosti also did not, when he was in the boat, also did not go great, and that is how the team of, uh, Amanda, James, John Robert, and Todd, so it wasn't Denise, it was James there, uh, ended up winning and going to that reward we talked about, which was a, uh, trip to, uh, was this the ancient city? And then
Yes.
you're gonna have a, it's funny, the wiki calls it an authentic Chinese meal, which is just what one of these guys said. I don't think that Jeff said that. That's just like, "Oh, this is gonna be a real authentic Chinese meal." Uh, and that's where they got the clue as well. So, what'd you think?
Of the challenge or of the reward?
The challenge.
Ooh, I thought it was cool. I liked
Yeah, it
it.
was a
It
very
was
cool
kind of
challenge.
funny. It's kinda like what I would think, it's just it's nothing crazy, it's just something silly, one person in the middle trying to, like, grasp it, like, put out the fire like, the water in their bucket to not sink while the other people are throwing it. It's intense, it's fun. It is, like, no mud, and I'm always down for that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's to add to that, it's a visual challenge where you can see the boat get lower and lower as they're sinking, so it had a cool visual aesthetic to it. And again, I like team challenges that bring a little bit of variety, and I felt this was definitely right up there.
The question is, do you want this challenge or obstacle course plus block puzzle?
I would take this challenge over an obstacle course plus block puzzle.
Heck
Because I
yeah.
mean,
This
the other thing
definitely
is,
1,000%. This is way more fun than obstacle course, block puzzle.
yeah, like there's also a strategic element to it. Like even part of the reason why they chose Courtney is like, oh, like she's lighter than Denise. They just came out and said that. But like picking your team members, trying to figure out like how to avoid the water. There's like immediate strategy you see come into play, whereas like with the obstacle course and puzzle, like, once you've seen it, it does have its moments, but this brings variety that like is much needed a lot of the time in Survivor. So it's always nice to see.
Mhm.
Yeah, I also
Did
feel
you
like
want
oh, sorry. I just figured,
did
like
you actually wanna talk about the reward, though? I cut you off before.
oh, yeah, the reward.
Yeah, I mean, let's go for it. Like the reward also looked pretty amazing, right? Like the food looked really good. They had like a dog to, I don't know, play with, but there was a dog hanging around. Got a nice time to just chat. John Robert seemed like he had too much wine early on. It's like, okay. Or not John Robert. What's his name? Uh,
Oh, James?
James.
Wait,
Yeah.
no. Wait, no. James did not win because he went home and argued with no, that was another challenge, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
James just did this one. Yeah, I'm
I'm like
sorry. I'm getting the
mixing this up.
2 challenges messed up, but you're right. And it's awkward because everyone else knew about the immunity idols, like, clues besides John Robert, so he's like, "Oh, let me think through this." Meanwhile, like, everyone else, like, "We knew this, like, 20 days ago." But it also tells you how bad his social game is because nobody trusts him and nobody wants to work with him. So
It's
nobody
just
wants to give him
unfortunate.
any of the stuff. So he's just like, "Oh my god, this is new clue. This is amazing." Like, and then they're like, "Are you gonna bring this back home or something?" He's like, "No." And then he like says like American immunity idol. I'm like, "What?" And everyone's just
Oh, yeah, that's
laughing at
weird.
him. It was just hilarious. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
that's who I was thinking of. Well, man, the food looked good. Like there's some challenges, and like not this is not even a Survivor thing, but there's certain things you see on TV where it's like it just makes you hungry looking at it. And this was one of those challenges where I was looking at the food and I was just getting hungry.
You can only
Shout out to
imagine how they
the
felt.
eggplant dish. The eggplant with the meat on there, the ground it's usually ground pork. That is so good. They had one cut of it, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm hungry.
And
I'm
even
ready
like
to
the
eat."
sauces, yeah, the sauces looked so good.
Ah,
I'm
so
sorry, I
good.
didn't catch what you said, Will. What did you say?
Oh, no, I just said, you can only imagine how they feel regardless of what, because there was always a risk actually that some of this is just not their cuisine, but they are so starving and hungry that they will absorb whatever stuff is
Oh
out there.
yeah, even better.
Um, the other the other challenge was the immunity challenge, which is called Dragon Rider. So they're all very simple. They're just all essentially sitting on a barrel. Now the barrels are all set up in they're all like dragon. It's all one big dragon, so it's like on the body of the dragon. But what you're sitting on can rotate from side, like just side to side, and you're trying to balance yourself on it. And if you can't, you will tumble over it, fall into the
This
swampy, muddy
was this
water.
not for the previous episode? This one was the puzzle with like the Zodiac, the animals.
That's the
That's the one you're
second.
describing is the one that Courtney had won, right?
Yes, that's the other one you're speaking of is in the next episode. That's the memory challenge that Peih-Gee wins.
Oh, sorry. I'm like an episode ahead. Okay, I'm like trying to remember the
Don't
sequence.
worry, don't worry. Yep, this is all. Just think about this is the episode of the Jean Robert demise. We have not yet
Okay,
talked
yeah.
about
Sorry, I thought we
the.
were ahead of
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yep, I was just wrapping this one up with its two challenges. Um, and yeah, so this is the one that ultimately, like we talked about at the beginning of this episode, win by doing nothing in quotes because it does take skill to actually balance and hold yourself up. And it is Courtney's first individual immunity win. Do you want this Dragon Rider challenge or obstacle course puzzle?
This one's harder to choose between, but I would still like the Dragon Rider. I feel like so far the Survivor China, like the challenges have been unique and I've liked them for the most part. So it's nice seeing them just because I'm all about that variety. And so far these look to be pretty good challenges. This one is an endurance based challenge, and I always love those.
Very good. And you, Ange?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was very again, I like themes, so it's giving the theme again. Um which I appreciate, the dragon, them riding on although it looks different than, what you usually think of, but, I thought it was really cool. It uses balance, and I enjoyed this challenge. I also love Frosty's little, singing, his little rendition, trying to
Oh,
get
yeah.
people, all,
Yeah.
out of it, and it got him. Who did
It
it
got
get?
Todd,
Somebody
yeah,
fell off.
immediately.
Yes,
It
Todd
got
fell
Todd.
out. Yeah, and I'm like, it worked, and it works because, he didn't fall from his singing, so it worked out.
Yep, yep, yep. And so, at Tribal Council, so interestingly enough, it turned out that Jean Robert he intends to vote James. It does see so Eric and Peih-Gee also vote James. So at some point, either Peih-Gee and Eric were just going for broke and just hoping that people would vote for James because he's a big threat, or or John Robert got them to all vote together. But they're all voting for James. Uh, Todd, Amanda, James, Courtney, and Frosti vote for John Robert. Denise left out of the strategic conversation. She votes for Peih-Gee, which was the original plan, apparently. 5 is enough. John Robert is gone. Do I even need to ask about
No, we would not
if
like to
Oh,
this
see
is
that
what?
return.
Nar,
I can.
nar,
no.
I
nar.
already know Ange's answer for this.
Yes.
This is like one of the
I
easier
cannot
no's
make
Fair enough.
this
you'll get.
clearer. Nar.
If he comes back,
Uh,
man, he's going to be one of those people who gets like disqualified in Modern
Yeah.
Survivor. So, do you want, assuming he plays the same way. So,
all right. Very, very fair. Very fair. So we move to the second episode, which was episode 9. And episode 9 was called
Just don't eat the damn apple.
Just Don't Eat the Apple, which is James, I guess another James title, but
Yeah.
he wants everyone to not vote. Don't be tempted to vote with Peih-Gee, Eric, or Frost, even though Frosty's actually voted with them last time. And also even though you yourself voted against your own tribe last time. but that's what James is telling them to do now. Um, so here's an interesting question. I think we're at the point of the season, and we've kind of been here for some votes. So it seems to be tribe versus tribe. It's going that way. This can be tough to watch. Like you naturally want to vote for the status quo to change, I think. Uh, and so we're watching the majority alliance do what I think is smart and try to continue keeping their majority alliance as long as possible. I mean, did you find yourself wishing that somehow they would vote for, I don't know, Denise or even James, like someone from the majority Fei-Long Alliance?
I think, yeah, the sensible option right now is the thread is James, however you can try to get him out. Like, it doesn't matter which
Mhm.
tribe you're in, doesn't matter your relationships right now. He has a very easy path to the end, and unless, like, a judge has a reason to just be biased against him, he even has a strong case at the end, so I'm kind of this is the point where you really gotta be looking at the end of the game and seeing, so, that would dictate my vote, and I think it should be James.
Yeah. I think if you're trying to really win this $1,000,000, yeah, you should. And isn't this whole point of playing Survivor to win? So I feel like if you were playing or you wanna win, you wanna increase your chances to be the top 2 or 3 or whatever it is right now, but you do not want James to win, you know? Like, he is really good physically, so he could win immunity challenges that are like, physical, you know? And he has 2 immunity idols. He could use it blindly with nothing and still go further than you, you know? So your goal is to blindside him, take him out before he could do that, you know? So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, see now it and it kind of is like, if that's how you're feeling as an audience member, I mean, I can ask you guys clearly, it probably feels frustrating because last vote, I mean, he was dead to rights, and he is spooked now because he got those 3 votes. However, now, because he did get spooked, you'd think he's on edge, like, it's gonna be even harder to blindside him now, uh, maybe, not gonna win, because, uh I mean, like, he's aware. Like, I think if he didn't get any of us last time, he might have just continued not even bringing them to the idols to tribal council. Um, and but I guess, look, easy for us to stay from home. If you're there and you want to target him, you might think what you're kind of telling me, like, he's going to use it, and if that happens, I'm just it's whoever he votes for is going to go out, and what if that's me? Like it does take a lot of bravery to open yourself up to just getting eliminated like that. Whereas if I don't vote for if I even if I'm betraying Fei Long, as long as I just don't make it James, I shouldn't be going home, and I get closer to winning $1,000,000.
Well, the goal with that is you're not just blindly voting for him. The goal with that is you're coming up with a strategy for how to vote for him. So, like, previous episode was a great example. They have a common sort of like belief that John Robert should be eliminated. I know there's some disputes there, but like a majority of the cast wanted John Robert out, right? And they could get a sense that, I mean, James himself, I'm pretty sure, voted for John Robert. So, like, even easier, right? Like, that's one where even if he uses an idol, like the people who are part of that majority are still safe, right? Like John Robert is a pretty easy out himself. This episode, like, you don't have such a blatant out, but like you have people who are making comments about Peih-Gee, so she has people who are at least supporting her, unlike John Robert. John Robert didn't really have any support at this point. But I think that the way you go about it is just forming a strategy of, for a fact that he has idols, and if he uses it, how essentially are we then going to still sway the vote if we have the ability to with the numbers we have?
Yeah, I guess it just depends how many people. Like if because if it's only PG and Eric, 2 out of 8 people you have to you need to add at least 2 more people to make it a tie. And are there 2 people you could convince that you could tell them about the plan who would not then go tell James about it? Because if James uses an idol, then it's probably especially if you're Peih-Gee or Eric at the time. Because at the time it looked like Frosti was part of their group. So for them to, they think they're gonna get votes. I mean, it's super dangerous. Whereas like if Denise wanted to do it, Denise probably is not. It's not risky for her because she's not getting any votes. Period. Um, Speaking of Denise, we do see in the both of these episodes, she was she was annoyed and a little hurt that she wasn't picked for the that boat challenge. And then she's also hurt because no one told her the vote was actually John Robert. I mean, this should be a red flag for Denise that your own alliance could not tell you what the new plan was. It does seem like she's thinking that, although she really wants to be aligned with James, though. Because I'm not sure James did a really good job of explaining what happened, but it did seem like it was good enough for Denise.
Yeah,
What did you think about what
I don't
Denise was
know.
talking about?
I feel bad for her. Like, it's a tough spot to be in. A lot of that has been out of her control, obviously. And it just seems like everyone's underestimating her, right? Like, and could that be a way that she can easily navigate towards the end where people aren't necessarily voting with her, but she might then not be an immediate target, and she could sneak in some moves. But the thing is that, like, in order to be part of that, she needs to improve her social game. So um she's kind of in no man's land right now. Like, it's just she's not like the next person you're thinking could go out, but she's not far from it just because it seems like she's on her own. And you got to wonder, like, how exactly is she going to stay afloat? She's not in a position where she might be seen as an immediate threat, but she definitely needs some level of support and assurance. And currently, it does not look like she has that from anyone.
I would say at least James is giving an effort to reassure her.
Yeah, but I
I'm
mean,
not
like,
seeing it from anybody else, but
he has two idols, so I think it's just he feels comfortable saying whatever he wants to say at this point.
yeah, that's definitely true. But you know what? Hands up, you got your 2 idols, so what can I say? I mean, you are in a power position and have the ability, and you're in a majority alliance and have the ability to win in theory, like any challenge. Um, I think, I guess what this shows is it has to be a credit to the Fei-Long people. If they had been awful to Denise, she would go talk to PG and Eric and say like, "Hey, like, I don't like them. I'm with you guys if you want to try something." And then maybe they pull, and now with 3 people, maybe they're able to persuade Frosty to come back with them, and now you're working with something. It seems that she didn't choose to do that, which makes me think that she still feels included enough despite all the stuff with that original group.
Yeah, potentially.
Um th- this episode starts with James uh like screaming like good morning everyone.
Yes. Where I'm like, "What is going on?" And it's funny because now that John Robert is gone, everyone's like, "Oh, now that John Robert is gone, this person's a new person that's annoying." Like, it was PG that was, like, to Todd. Todd was, like, annoyed with PG, and then we go into it, and it is, like, James being like, good morning," like, you're just like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?"
Which seems like a horrible thing to do, but funny enough, the one reaction we see is a very happy reaction from Courtney, who, now that she's woken up, she's like, it's amazing, guys. John Robert's gone. It's Christmas, I think she says. Uh, so I guess that didn't hurt James, but that was just strange. Um, You're right, PG does start getting I don't know that she did anything different than what she usually I think it's just, let's pick a new person to be the main annoyance. It's gonna be PG. Like, she just
They
just
yeah,
enough to be blamed for.
they definitely have to have one, like, every week, right? Like, when first, like, way back when Dave and Ashley were butting heads, you were thinking, "Okay, like, now that one of them is gone, in this case, Ashley, like, things will settle down." Then it became Dave and Sharia. Then it became like it's become like a moving target that like someone is always butting heads.
Yeah. She does not make it better for herself after the reward challenge, which was called a drum roll. So it's gonna be 4 on 4, and each person is gonna have like a different size drum, and you're bouncing a ball on that drum, and you can try to pass it to your teammate if you so wish, and you're trying to get through. Um, it's a little bit of an obstacle course. It's just kind of like these like statues in your way you have to get around, but mainly it's kind of just a straight shot to the end is what you're trying to do. And you are playing for an overnight cruise, um, and which will have food and all kinds of cool stuff. Uh, the team of Eric and Frosty, hard stop because their two other teammates basically did nothing. Eric and Frosty do a great job in this challenge. They're able to pick it up pretty quickly. And yeah, you need to do it three to get this ball through the course 3 times to win. And I mean, they win it 3-0 against Todd and James and PG and Denise, who really can't get anything started at all.
It was hard to watch because you see, like, how great of a team the other teams are, and then you see, like, the scramble between, like, PG and, like, everyone else, really. They're all scrambling to get this and bouncing this off, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, what's the point?"
Yeah, this was it was just not. I mean, this is. I guess it's just a thing you have a feel for it or you don't. But once they fell behind, I think that now they're panicking too. Uh, and and yeah, I mentioned PG though because after this challenge, she so she's upset because she's upset because they lost, but she's also upset because every time you drop that ball, you need to go back to the start, and she felt that James wasn't hustling like the rest of them to get back to the start. Um, James very bluntly is she just shuts that down. He doesn't want to hear it uh at all. And so I think awful social game by James, but maybe it's just like it doesn't matter if this lady likes me or not because she's gonna go home, I guess is his attitude.
Plus two immunity idols.
+2 immunity idols. I mean, my only concern is you do want people to vote for you in the end if you get to the end. So your only hope is that like enough other people like because it doesn't seem like people like no one goes to defend PG. So like the feedback that James is getting is that he's in the right and we all agree with you, which leads to someone continuing that behavior. But not great. I mean, not great for PG either, because this and I think what hurts PG because that's in a vacuum. If you show someone that scene, I feel like you would take PG's side because James being pretty rude here.
I do
Uh-huh.
agree. I do agree with that. I think that James is not nice. Like, he's done that to Courtney, he's done that to a lot of people, and that rubs, like, I don't know if it rubs the audience the wrong way, it rubs me the wrong way because I feel like if he doesn't like hearing what you say, he shuts you out. And then he just acts like he is way better than you and that you're dumb, you're stupid, you're dumb, I'm not gonna talk to you because you're dumb. Like, that's how I feel about what James does. So in the end, sometimes I feel like he probably acts like this a lot more than we see in camera. So maybe that's why, like, they may not be as afraid of him because, okay, make it to the top 3. No one's gonna vote for you because you suck, you were not nice to anybody. But maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like he is really rude. I get PG also is very fiery, and sometimes she does put on some, like, in terms of blame, she was very frustrated. It was that moment, like, she's hasn't won yet, and from the moment she started, like, losing purposely, I feel like it's been a constant ride of not winning for her, so it is very frustrating, but I think that that moment where it's just her and James kind of fighting and James shutting her out, but I feel like everyone else was not on her side though, because she is in the minority, and I feel like nobody wants to, like, back her up and go against James that is much more powerful right now in the game, which sucks. It sucks to watch that. I think that also I hate when that happens where these 2 people are arguing and you could tell this one person is like, "I don't wanna talk to you. You suck, whatever," and the other person, PG, doesn't get any talk without getting this flame on her, you know? So, I just feel like it just gave a bad taste in my mouth with James, but that happened before with James. So, I don't know. I don't really love James, which sucks because I feel like in episode 1, I was like, "You know, this is kinda cool. This guy's a grave digger, like, this is a pretty cool, like, he seemed, like, very charismatic in a way," but then, I don't know, I just feel like his combination of the overconfidence and also his rudeness to all the other players that isn't on his side, it just he's just not great. I don't like him, and I want him out too.
I think part of his frustration specifically towards PG is you got to remember she threw a challenge and that could have screwed him over. Like, he was part of the chopping block there. He didn't get voted out, but he could have gotten voted out or it cost him someone who he was working with. So there could also be some like lingering feelings there. And, it's just, yeah, there's not a lot of people who are making themselves very likable this season. So it's one of those things where like you got to remember with Survivor, like an important aspect is always going to be the social game, and that involves like just being able to have the willpower to, even if everything around you sucks, put on a good face, don't get on anyone's nerves, and just keep pushing ahead, playing a good game. And someone who I think has done that pretty well so far has been Frosti and Eric. And those two people, ironically enough, their names get thrown out there in this episode. But I think for the most part, they've handled most things with grace this season, right? Like they've been in a lot of like loser circles, but they've hung tough. We don't really see them complaining. So to me, it's like those are always good qualities of like a survivor. Like, yeah, there's going to be down moments, like, and we're all prone to complaining about things. It's not, it makes us human, but people who grit their teeth and keep persevering and push through, those people show strong mental fortitude and end up lasting longer. They don't necessarily win, but like, those are the people you like to see and want to succeed. At least I do.
Hey, Frosty, not just attitude. I mean, he had seemingly been included in the group. He was told the right person to vote for last at the previous vote. They said, "Yep, we're voting for John Robert," whereas they did not tell Eric that. Clearly, Eric voted incorrectly last time. So, and then on the actual, real quick, do you like this drum challenge or do you prefer obstacle course with block puzzle?
Uh, for this one, I would say obstacle course and puzzle. This one was interesting, but I would prefer just the obstacle course and puzzle to this one.
I know, I like this one, the drum bouncing ball one. Yeah, I like it. It reminds me of when you're a kid and you got nothing to do and you're just like trying to keep a balloon up afloat. That's what it made me think of. And
Oh yeah.
it's so silly, so simple, but yet it was hard for some people. And it kind of showed out. And I feel like because it's so easy, by not being able to do it adds in more frustration. Like sometimes where the puzzle is hard, the puzzler can't do it. You're kind of like, you understand, it's like, good job, you tried. Versus this one, I felt like they were more frustrated because it was so hard, and the frustration makes it harder for them to do it. It makes it harder for them to, like, keep going, and they're more behind, so, I don't know, I like it more, so I'm gonna say this one too.
I like that this, like, comparing it to the one where in the boats. I I guess this. I mean, this is all editing tricks, so I could be being fooled. It felt like this could last longer Well, it did last longer in terms of, like, camera time, but, like, it was a longer challenge and I think it's because it's best 3 out of 5. You need to get to 3 to win, whereas that other challenge in the boats was, like it was really fast. Like, even when I like these challenges, a lot of them end quickly. Now some people just hate all challenges, so it's that they would like that, but I like seeing a storyline play out, like in that one where they were all wearing suits of armor and they were using, like, these meteor hammers again, that was, like, a storyline in the challenge, and you need this many to win, this many to tie, I really like that one, so, some of these I just wish lasted longer, I think. Um, we do see on the cruise, people been talking about it, but finally we get to see it, that Courtney and Frosti of the start of something spicy. They're getting very, very touchy-feely. They both talk about it, that they not as deep as sharing middle names like Eric and Jamie, but, uh, they like each other.
Yeah, a little showman's going on, another one. Although I do recall Frosty is one of the youngest players. And I think he 20?
He is
19?
20, which means he was not allowed to partake in whatever drinks are on this
Oh, I didn't even think
this
about that.
unless the country of China's rules are different, which
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know.
I'm not
I
sure
mean,
either.
he would be allowed in
Uh,
Canada, so
Oh, see, there you go.
but yeah, what a moment there. Like I didn't even see that coming. It came out of nowhere to me. I feel like last episode they were like okay, but then this episode you're like, whoa, they're together. So I lots of romance going on this
yeah,
season.
like what is in the water there in China?
Love is in the air and the water.
Right?
Uh, it turns out Eric can do the greatest goat impression I've ever heard, which
Honestly, very
is
impressive.
crazy. Um, Eric is trying to make himself more likable. I do wish we saw more. We got Eric explain what his like plans are, but maybe we're seeing all there is, which is make myself likable so that if they could pick somebody or pick me, they'll pick me. Maybe that's just a very simple uh a plan here. Um, so they all come back. They do lie. They don't reveal how much food they had or the type of food they had. So that and I think they get away with that lie.
I think it's funny
So
because they were like, we can't we just said a bunch of Chinese food. Like we didn't want to tell them about the fried chicken. I'd be like, that's funny because it's like, I guess they assumed or thought that they would prefer the fried chicken way more and be more jealous than saying Chinese food. Like for me, I'll be like all about that Chinese food. I'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe it. That would excite me more than the fried chicken personally. But I'm biased. So, but it was just interesting because it's the type of food that was offered is the reason why they change up their story a little bit.
yeah. But yeah, they get back. Todd fills in the group on essentially the outburst from James and PG, but everyone seems to be wanting to target PG. So she had a better win, which brings us to the immunity challenge, which is called Chinese Zodiac Symbols, which is pretty much exactly what the challenge was. It is a memory challenge. Jeff is going to read out a number of zodiacs, and you need to remember the order in which he said them. And you're going to take a knife and you're going to stab each like tile in the right order. But the twist is that if you want to give up your chance to compete in this challenge, you can eat cheeseburgers and fries and drinks and all that good stuff. Um, so in the end, half of them sit out. So it's so Amanda plays, Eric plays, Frosty plays, and PG plays, but everybody else sits out, including James.
Shocked how many people sit out. In the modern day, you can't even get people to wanna give up their immunity for rice, you know? Um, I mean, I guess rice is different than a hamburger, like a big giant thing of hamburger and fries, but I'm surprised at how many people gave that up. Were you surprised, F?
It's I yeah, kind of. It felt like it made the challenge easier just because there's a lot less competition, and I guess the food there must have been so good that it enticed most of them because yeah, like they're getting near the end and like it's every man for themselves at this point. You want to make sure you have as much protection as you have. But like even someone like James, like they're talking about how he ate like 7 of the 12 burgers. So it's the food there must be really good.
I mean, that's rough because if so 4 people set out, so in theory, that's 3 per person, but instead, James has 7.
Yeah, like
I
and
vote him out just for that.
think about right, and this isn't even the first time he's been called out for it. Like the previous episode with John Robert, he was saying that like James is having like pretty much half their rice by himself. But yeah,
Remember
like
that,
Yeah.
yes. That's crazy and nobody react as much as I thought they would. Because food is a big deal right now, and he
I know,
keeps eating
right?
and he's like, "Oh, but I just need more, I'm doing more," and stuff like it's like, "No, sir. Sit down."
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's puzzling.
It's
that's
also maybe it could be true, and sure, because he is bigger, he has more muscle mass, he most likely need more than, like, Courtney, but, when you're hungry at this time, this is the last thing you wanna hear. And double the food? No, I do not dig that. You could be triple my size, and I would be pissed at if I'm hungry, you know,
You
in
might
an
not
island
dig
with no
it,
food.
but he digs it because he's a grave digger.
also
Yeah, I love that. I love it.
also 7 I mean, just imagine 7! I mean, even, like,
Dude,
can I even finish
have you looked
2?
at James though? Like, is that surprising?
I
No, it's not.
mean, I guess I'm just trying to picture what it would be like to even have, like, 3 burgers at the same time.
I'm telling you, the
Uh,
food there also must just be really, really good, right? Like it looks good. It's like, man.
yeah,
So I can't
so
fault them for
Eric
that.
yeah, I guess. I don't know,
But
but,
it's like, yeah,
the
like
people of the people that do compete, Eric, unfortunately loses immediately,
right
so
away.
that's it. Fails the first one.
And
Then
Jeff makes a point about it. Sorry to cut you off. Jeff makes a point about that. He's like, yeah, so Eric, you lost that first challenge. Like, look at everyone else. You could have been eating that food, right? He's
Yes.
like he's like, look at Courtney, like look at how she's eating that food. He's like pointing it out and making fun of it, throwing in a subtle jab, saying what doesn't really need to be said. Those are
yeah,
it's
not
part
great.
of Jeff's personality I like the most, those subtle jabs. Just come out of nowhere.
Sometimes not so subtle. Uh, Amanda eventually also goes out. It's between Frosty and PG. Frosty, uh, I mean, he's very animated. I feel like you just want to root for Frosty. He just
I do.
he's given like no reasons like
He's
you talk
just a
about a lot of
good
people
guy.
are dislikable. Like Frosty is like very likable.
Yes, he is so
Yeah, that's
likable. He's
he doesn't
likable, he's, like, humble, he is sweet, he doesn't cause trouble, people
doesn't
like
complain.
him, doesn't
Yeah.
complain, he is just a cutie patootie.
Yeah, and involved in the story because like you could have someone like that, but they're just doing nothing. Um, but he is involved. So, and unfortunately, he loses in the end. He thought he lost in the one of the rounds, but he was okay. But then the next one he's not, and so it is PG that wins. I mean, this was probably the end for her if she had not gotten this win. So super clutch win for PG. Um, do you like the memory challenge, or would you prefer obstacle course plus? Oh, sorry, obstacle course block puzzle or endurance challenge. I forgot. We're in the individual stage. We're supposed to say both of those possibilities.
Oh, yes. I'm actually gonna go backwards no, go forward and say I like an endurance challenge. I felt like this one was just kind of, eh, I don't know, kind of a little boring for me. I wasn't really into it.
Yeah, a little boring and had the potential to end like right away. So I would also say the endurance one.
Yeah, true. Yeah. This is kind of like the worst of both worlds because it doesn't. There's not the excitement of like the build up, and it ends in what's kind of a puzzle in the end too. But it's like but yeah. So a PG wins. The only um the only drama really here is that it's everyone seems to be agreed from Fei-Long that it's gonna be either Eric or Frosty. But there's some concern now that Frosty and Courtney are very close. Would Courtney actually vote for Frosty? One interesting thing is they could have taken the same tactic. They had, for similar reasons, they had not told Denise last time. They could have just not told Courtney. But instead, Todd decides he wants to tell her, and when he's warned against it by like James and Niece, he's if she can't see that, well, then maybe we'll just vote for her. Like Todd, kind of in a similar way to James, but it's like if you don't see it the way I see it, like what are you even doing? I think it's Todd's feeling too. Um,
Yeah,
that
gotta watch out for
conversation
that.
does happen. Courtney, she doesn't really or maybe we're just not showing it. She doesn't really react strongly regardless. I suspect she in the end said fine though, and we just didn't hear it. Um, Probably. Well, okay. Do you agree with Courtney of because what she could have done instead? She could have gone to Frosty and said, "They're betraying you, man. They're going against you. Let's join up with Eric and Peih-Gee and then vote for Todd or vote for anyone."
Courtney hasn't really made much plays. I'm not gonna lie. I think that even if she made it to final 3, she wouldn't get a single vote. Um, I don't think anybody's making much plays. The only person that is, like, trying to make plays is PG, who's trying to stay alive, and then there's Todd that's changing plays every 5 minutes. So, we have those 2 people. Amanda, I barely even know what's going on with her half the time. I think she's just like, "Okay, whatever. Sure."
The only thing you know about Amanda is that apparently
Her mom's
she
gonna
requires to
no.
yeah, there's that, but also she needs to have parts of her body blurred out at all times.
Yes, that was weird. I was gonna say that. I remember that part. I'm like, "Hmm, what's going on?" But, I'm just, I fear that it's a pretty obvious who's making plays right now.
So in the end, Eric and Frosty are pretty sure it's gonna be one of them. They kind of like, hey, if it's you or it's me, good luck to you. If it's me, good luck to you. At tribal council, it turns out it is Frosty, which I was surprised because it seemed like Frosty was someone willing to vote with you. So you could have just Eric has not been voting with you, but you went the other way. But it's unanimous, so that means even PG voted with them, which probably makes sense because there was nothing else. Like if PG didn't do that, it would just be like one vote for someone random. So um, yeah, we lose Frosty. Do
Frosty
you
the
want to
Snowman.
see Frosty the
Mm.
snowman? Somebody drew a snowman on the piece of parchment too, next to his
Oh, I
name.
didn't even notice that.
Uh,
Oh. I
But
would
uh,
totally draw
but
it. I don't know
yes.
how much time they give you in there when you're, like, writing, but I would totally give a little drawing
Oh,
every
I think
time.
technically you have forever. I mean, I guess there would come a point
Oh.
eventually. Someone would come with.
I feel like the producer's like, "All right, Ange, get out. We don't have all night here. Jeff's gotta we pay him hourly. We cannot pay him for an extra 30 minutes." I would love to see Frosty back. I think he was really good. He was so young too. Like, that's the thing with him is that he was so young. Give him another 10 years. Let him cook. Let him cook.
So if he came back in this was let's see when in 2007 was it? It was well, it aired November 2007, so let's just say it was like in the beginning of the year 2007. So if he's someone coming back for season 50, then he would be uh, late 30s right now?
Yeah,
That sounds
come
right.
back, Frosty. Frosty the Snowman, come back. Ice up for February, season 50.
What have you, F? Do you wish to see the Frosty again?
Yeah, I'm Team Frosty. I could see some more. I think he has what it takes to, evolve his game. I don't think he really misplayed. It just didn't work out for him. So he's someone who in another season could potentially win it. And like I was saying before, he didn't complain, played a good game, was likable. So he's one of those people who like I didn't have too many thoughts about originally, but like, he was one of the more likable people in a season that has a lot of people who aren't really trying to be likable, it seems. So it's good.
Yeah, so we're down to just 7. Uh, so Amanda, I don't know that Amanda has gotten anyone's nerves other than, I mean, she's part of the group that didn't tell Denise in the previous episode, so maybe Denise just didn't like that. Courtney, Todd was definitely annoyed at her, but it's more like frustrated at her indecisiveness or not playing the game. And that happened before Sharia when she wanted to keep Sharia. Um, I don't know that anyone dislikes Denise. I think Denise is fine. Eric is liked now. James is definitely disliked by some. Peih-Gee is disliked by many. And Todd, if they don't like Todd, I don't know if anyone's stated it yet. Obviously, you're right that what he's doing could eventually get interpreted that way. I don't know if it's happened yet. But yeah, so F, you have PG and you have Todd right now. With 7 people left, will you be changing either of those winner picks?
It's kind of hard not to choose James for one of them. I feel more confident in Todd. Obviously,
Really? Because
Peach.
I thought you had been criticizing a lot from
I
James.
have. I don't think he's gonna win, but I'm just saying like
Oh, I
he
mean,
feels like a
it is
better
called
spot than
winner pick.
what?
It is called winner pick, though.
Yeah, I know, but like
For
we're choosing two, and there's only going to be one winner, right? So I think,
oh, you're so confident that you have the winner that you don't think anyone else. I mean, that's bold.
I mean, yeah, I don't like it's. I'm feeling most confident with Todd still, but
Hmm.
like these last two episodes are a little concerning, if I'm being quite honest. I was just saying that James, yes, I don't think he's gonna win. Like he just seems like too big of a threat. Where if people allow him to keep going, like it'll just be really bizarre if they're not putting out all the stops to try to limit. Like he's showing to be such a big threat, like in the middle of the season. So, um, but I'm saying the reason I'm bringing him up is because relative to PG, PG is also for some reason being seen as a threat or being put on the chopping block. And if I'm just comparing her to James, James has immunity idols that she doesn't. So
Fair
I
enough.
just mean in that sense that like probability wise, it would be safer for me to switch to James out of PG, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'm a ride or die.
Okay, so you're sticking with PG and sticking with Todd.
Yes.
Okay, okay. And you only have Todd left. Will, for the next 2 episodes, you continue with Todd?
Oh, yes, I'm sticking with Todd. He's my only hope and my last hope, so we're sticking with him until he dies, I guess.
Help me, Todd. You're my
Until
only hope.
until there's a new
Yes,
hope.
yes. Wait, that's too good. Yes.
Uh,
Uh,
but all right. Also, it's funny enough. Out of all the episodes we watched, I think the we have run into 2 cliffhanger episodes. You may recall we watched Pearl Islands, and it ends on the cliffhanger. It's It's the one where all those people come back, the outcasts, and then the
Yes.
cliffhanger's like, and now who's gonna come back in the game?
I remember that.
So we ended on another cliffhanger. Unfortunately, this one, if you're watching in real time, next week is just the recap episode. So you had to wait 2 weeks to find out what that's all about. Which is
That is
Chef just saying
unfortunate.
something about like we're not done yet, so who knows what he's talking about? Do you have any possibilities you can think of off the top of your head? I mean, the show gave you nothing to go off of, but does any ideas come to mind?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so hard. I think it's gonna be a double elimination. They're gonna do another
Yeah.
challenge, and then someone else is gonna go. Like PG, take off your necklace. We're doing another challenge.
We're doing it
Someone
right
else is doing
now.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like right
Jeff
now, no
is
plan, nothing.
Jeff is like, I'm tired of you guys. I need one more elimination right now. I can't stand you guys.
That's crazy. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Anything else you wish to talk about?
Oh, no. I think we captured most of it.
No, Todd, you're my only
Then
hope. Keep strong.
all right, all right. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Island Life. And we are final 7. So tune in next time as we go from the final 7 down to the final 5. But until then, and until we speak again, ciao.